it on good authority that Focus Features is going to pay for everybody's therapy. You can see me in the lobby later. My name is Eric Anderson. I'm the editor-in-chief of awardslaunch.com, and it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce the cast of the incredible movie that you just saw. And so just without further ado, let's do that. Please welcome Joe Alwyn. Noah Jupe. Jacobi Jupe. And Jessie Buckley. You got that? No. All right, let's dig right in. Jessie, we have such a small amount of knowledge about who Agnes was. We know of Anne Hathaway, but we really don't know much about Agnes. Did that help open up how you were going to portray her? Because it didn't have to be based on maybe too much knowledge.
I'm trying to think of a really bad joke about The Devil Wears Prada.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Okay, you know that
I've not got the brain span, but that's just what I was
you know
thinking.
that Anne Hathaway's husband looks like
I know!
what we think William Shakespeare looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, it's not her. We know very little about her, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she, like a lot of women in history, were misrepresented. And little bits that were written about her was that she was somebody who married Will, who was younger than her, and that she kind of was stopping his genius, blah, blah, blah. And I think, I can't imagine that's at all possible, looking at the heroines that he wrote, and how he, you can recognize this very strong, powerful, potent force of a woman in his life, in the women that he wrote in his plays. And I think Maggie O'Farrell was really curious about giving voice to the thing that had been voiced with judgment, and actually exploring the love that Shakespeare has in his plays, the tragedy, the drama, the comedy, and what the humanity could have been in our version of this great giant's life.
Very much there, yeah, there is that sense of if you are the wife of a genius, you're either the muse or you are in the way. So she kind of got to be rewritten.
Well, and she has her own language, and in creating her, it was very important for me and for Chloe to really explore what is her own language. And her own language is something very ancient. It belongs in mythology and archetypes and life and death and paganism and nature. Like, her language is nature and the nature of being and being within nature. And that embodied, she's embodied in so many ways, and is listening to her dreams and her medicines and the voices of the dead. All of that was her language.
I really love to hear about creating the relationship with Paul Mescal, and also the maternal strength that you create with Jacobi.
Except this time I'm the one in the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Well, from the beginning, we just felt like a family, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Nina Gold, who cast Jacobi and the other girls, I don't know where she found them. Where did she? In a bush.
Yeah.
And the minute we got together, it just felt like family, and it was very easy to come to work every day and look into these faces and kind of. Jacobi is an extraordinary little man and an incredible actor, and knows exactly what is required of him every day. Has the kind of intellect to be able to register where he's going to have to go, but the openness of his heart to ask you to come with him. And I love working with children. I loved working with Jacobi, and we were like two peas in a pod.
Yeah, we were.
I called him Walnut and he calls me Shell, because in the hard days, like on his, when Hamnet died, we both knew we had to go to a difficult place that day, and we made a pact at the beginning of the day. I said, when it gets too hard, you come over to me and you say Walnut and I'll say Shell. We'll sit down and I've got you, and we'll just chill out for like 5 minutes and then we'll go back into it.
I'm not sure it was chilling out. He was like tormented, screaming and crying.
Okay, not in between takes. We talked about. Right, General Darius.
I was very, very, very sad.
We were sad.
I was, yeah, that
Yeah.
day was.
And then Paul, I mean, Paul's a giant of a man. You know, I remember seeing, before we started shooting, I was in New York filming, he was in New York, and we'd go out dancing and to ABBA. Just for
Yeah.
give you the details.
I've been there.
And I bet you have. And but I always, you know, sometimes you walk behind somebody and you can just see the space that they can contain and take up. And he wears his giantess like a great coat, you know. And being a giant, it's because his capacity to be human, to love, to hold the biggest parts of you is ginormous. And from the moment we met on the chemistry read, that was where we were like working from, that capacity to trust, to go wherever it was that it was going to take us. And I have had the privilege of working with incredible people who are, I really feel like Paul is a journeyman in my life, and that I will meet him many times and we will be changed by each other, because I feel like I was changed by working with Paul, because he allowed me to go deeper in the work that I wanted to do.
I'm so glad you got to work with him after The Lost Daughter, where you were in the same film but did not have, you weren't in the same timeline, so you were not together. So that's wonderful. Jacobi, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm 12.
You were 12, so
Yeah.
you were 11 when you made this, right? 2024?
I think I was 10 when I auditioned, but 11 when I started the job, yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I was doing at 10, and it certainly was not this. Can you talk a little bit about working with Chloe in creating HAMNET and your experience with working with her as a director? This is only your second feature film, right?
Yeah,
You did the Peter Pan.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So, I met Chloe in my third audition, I think. And she didn't even tell me her name. She just said, I'm taking your dad away in a van. Persuade me not to take him. I went, hi, I'm Jacobi, nice to meet you. Okay, let's do this. Then, honestly, I think that she is such an incredible person, and the way that she's brought this film together has just made it so incredible. It's I don't know what the word is. It's just there. It's like she has it. She has that thing, and she knows what we all are, and she can see in us what, I don't know, it's so hard to describe, but she just brings us all together. And if Chloe wasn't there, this would have been a very, very different movie. I can tell you that for a fact.
I think from what I know of her and talking to other people that have been in her films, she does create a sense of trust,
Yeah.
especially in the most vulnerable moments for
Yeah.
the performer.
I think that what she said was, which really, she said you can do anything. No one's gonna laugh at you here. That was one of the first things she said to me, because it's all about not being self-conscious. You have to let your emotions out. It doesn't matter what people think. That's what being an actor is all about. And if you have a director who can support that and who can like help you with that, then I mean it's just so helpful, honestly.
You have a really, really difficult scene in this film.
Yeah.
In your death scene. Can you talk about how Jessie and Chloe and maybe even Noah helped you through that? Or did they, or was it just all you?
No. I mean, Jessie, as she said, she was the shell and I was the walnut. That really helped. Even her even if we didn't speak, we would just do it, and I would sit there and I would just be in her arms, and I would just let it all go, because that's what you have to do. You have to just believe and keep your heart open.
I mean, that is Bartholomew's, that's his.
That's
Yeah,
my line, mate.
sorry.
That's it, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I think everybody here would agree that you are really incredible in this film. I think the real Hamnet would be really proud of what you've done for Hamnet.
That makes me really happy.
Noah, before this, you hadn't done stage or like Shakespeare professionally, right?
No, not at all.
So you were just thrown right in.
Yeah.
No pressure at all.
No pressure. I like a bit of pressure.
In kind of taking on one of the most famous plays in the world, can you talk about what your experience was in doing that for the first time with things that are really familiar to a lot of people?
Yeah. I think I kind of lucked out because I didn't know the material, and I hadn't seen many other performances of Hamlet. In fact, I hadn't seen another performance of Hamlet ever. I'd obviously heard the famous lines, but only in senses that were meaningless. You know, I never sort of tapped into anything.
All out of context.
All out of context, or, you know. And so I think that Chloe was quite happy about this as well, is because when I came to the project, she was like, don't watch anything, don't read anything, you know, obviously understand the text, understand the journey that you're going throughout the story, but come at it with fresh eyes, come at it from an emotional place, just try and root it within yourself, try and ground it within yourself. And that was my main focus, was just trying to make this language feel like it was mine and it was centered, and and yeah, I think it was good that I hadn't seen everything else. And also, you know, this was something that I was really happy about in the sense of like, this was for another story. Yes, I was playing Hamlet, and yes, that story is incredible, but this serves as another purpose. It's using Shakespeare's art to aid this story and aid the grief of these two characters and, you know, their sort of resolution at the end of the film. And I thought that you know, it almost felt bigger than the, you know, the dialect of Shakespeare and how hard that was.
Well, yeah, because you and Jacobi as characters are connected as like two versions of each other. You're essentially playing an older version of him that never got to be.
Yeah.
This I don't know. Who was cast first?
Me. Yeah.
Okay, so you just brought him along.
It's, it's nepotism at its finest.
Yes.
I wasn't even I wasn't involved in it at all. Chloe just like rang him up and was like, "Oh my god, do you want to do it?" And she was trying to keep it secret from me.
I think it as well. It's interesting. Like the you know, it's something that when it happened, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. It's like so random, and you know, within 5 days, I was on the set shooting with Jacobi, and I in a project I'd been hearing all about. But then I look at it now, and I look at, you know, it's a really nifty bit of casting in the sense of like, we are so connected, and I love this man, this little man, so much that like to go and help finish his story is like the most beautiful poetic thing. And the fact that that was just like complete sort of chance and wasn't planned from the very beginning, it just goes to show how sort of like spiritual this film is and how sort of connected it is. Yeah.
I mean, it is that wonderful piece that just adds to our feeling and our understanding of it. I do also like the really neat Easter egg on the playbill where your character's name is Jupe as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Jacobi love that because it's Mr. Jupe, which could be either of us.
Exactly. I mean, that goes to Chloe and Maggie's just insight and everything. Joe, as we have already invoked your famous line, I love that you also have the unique element in this movie of being the only person that says the name William Shakespeare. Because in the book and in the film, his name is not mentioned until all the way at the end. I kind of love that you have that uniqueness that nobody else has in the film. And you have a very extensive history and drama and English and theater. Did that prepare you well to play Bartholomew and be in this Shakespeare family?
Not really. No, I think one thing that Chloe wouldn't have wanted and didn't do was to kind of trap the story in any way in an idea of what people have of Shakespeare or of that time, or of it being period or stuffy or stuck in a kind of academic world. And I don't know what experience I have or don't have with drama or theatre or Shakespeare, but no, I didn't think of it in that sense at all. I just thought of it as its own unique story, and I remember just being so intrigued about how Chloe was gonna tackle it. I mean, I loved all of her films and known her for a long time now, and all of her films before had this almost documentary-like quality, and often worked with non-actors. And I remember reading the book and reading the script and thinking, I wonder how that will apply to what is, you know, a period story. And it felt in some ways, on first look, a world away from where she had been before. But actually, as we started doing it and thinking about it, and then seeing it is so, I know I'm now like answering to something else, but it's so in her like stamp and signature, and so not about Shakespeare, really. Although that's a part of it, and when you hear his name, you're like, oh yeah, that's from Shakespeare. But it's so much deeper and more delicate and powerful than that. And I was kind of continued to be like blown away by how she handled the material.
Yeah, she subverts the idea of what we think a stuffy British period piece is going to be, and turns it into something that is quite uniquely hers, for sure. Jessie, we talked last month, and I after seeing the movie, well, 5 times now. I like torture. I don't know why. The thing that I was coming around to is that there is a sort of Christ-like element to this story, as Agnes gives her only son really to the rest of the world, because we now know Hamlet and Hamnet and have for centuries in a way that never could have been imagined at the time. Is that something that resonates in some way as well? Or is it just me?
No, that's really interesting. I mean, I guess that's the original story, isn't it? That's our kind of original first story of what mother son is, and the iconography around what that is. I mean, we all have a relationship to whatever our faith is. We don't know what that looks like, and I guess, you know, the thing with love and the thing with is that you will, if you're courageous to love anything or anyone at all, you always dance within the risk of losing that thing. And I mean, I don't know if Agnes or if Mary wanted to give their son up. That really wasn't their choice, you know. The path was bigger than that. And in some ways, you look at like what Shakespeare did with his story of what that was, and whoever wrote it, who did, I'm sure I should know, who wrote the Bible, but I don't. Bad Irish Catholic girl, bad.
It was just a couple of guys.
But you know, they take the idea of loss and love and make it universally, a universal canvas for us all to transcend the idea of loss and love through. And it takes, you know, grief is huge, love is huge, and these seismic stories that have shaped our culture and shaped our identities and shaped our moralities and our shared life force have existed for so long because we need those epic scale stories to hold the hardest parts of what we can let go in ourselves. So I don't know if that's any way answering your question, but yes, I guess there is. I guess my only thing with that, right, is that for me, the kind of, like, I think Agnes is a little bit messier than Mary. Like, I think she's a bit more chaotic. I don't know Mary.
I'm gonna take a step and say, yeah, she is a little bit messier.
You know, the thing that I loved about Agnes so much was, and the inspirations that I was taking, like, there's this artist called Jenny Saville in the UK, who's incredible, and all her paintings are of these gigantic female fleshy bodies, and paintings of herself when she's pregnant, carrying babies that are like, they're almost like their limbs are coming out of her. It isn't a kind of pure, like, just sublime surrender. It's chaos. Like, to live it all. It's so full of life. And I'm sure that's true for Mary too. But I'd say that's the only difference in my head.
I want to close with you guys asking about the film's finale, because it is the only sequence where you all sort of kind of get to be in the same place at the same time, and the recreation of the globe. So I just want to ask each of you what your experience was being in there, and Chloe's process of helping you through that incredibly emotional finale.
You can start this.
Yes, go Joe.
I'll start this. It was extraordinary. It was unlike any experience I've certainly had, because you're in this incredible reconstruction of this place that you either visited or heard about or know and seen drawings of, or you're stepping back into this other world. But then the way that the whole 10-day shooting was constructed was, we were there with, I don't know, 300 supporting artists, and everyone, through Chloe and through this amazing woman, Kim Gillingham, who works in kind of, how does she describe it? Dream work. Does dream work with actors and non-actors. And Chloe and Kim each day would drop everyone into this space, this kind of communal space together through almost meditation, whereby everyone was sinking into something really deep and individual, but because they're all there together, collective, and then bound by this performance on stage, and Noah being so brilliant and giving. It was just this amazing, cathartic, like outpouring of different kinds of, not just grief, but whatever it was you were holding. And it really felt, it was so special. It was just so special. I'd never experienced anything like that as like a mass of people. And then it's interesting watching the film. I mean, everyone has different reactions to it, but say yesterday I saw the film for the first time in a packed cinema, and you're watching that as an audience, watching this story. It was like ripples through. So yeah, I found it so powerful and special.
I know, what was your experience?
I've never had so much fucking energy in my life. Like honestly, what Joe was talking about is so true, and especially this crowd, these background actors, and Joe and Jessie, like they gave me so much, and I've never had that experience before. You know, I've never had an experience of a collective of people. I feel like it's only been with, you know, actors, and you're having intimate scenes, you know, it's you and the camera, you know, and that's a whole relationship in itself. But suddenly I had, you know, 300 people, whatever it was, that were watching me, giving me their energy to then try and transform that into something that was healing and emotional, and to evoke something in all of us together. You know, and I think that coming into the project, looking at the words on the page of Shakespeare and his monologues and all this incredible language, it looked pretty lonely, to be honest. It looked like it was something that you tackle on your own, and Hamlet feels extremely alone. He's lost his father. You know, he's out there trying to make sense of the world. But this experience was the opposite of that. And because of Chloe and because of all of the people that were there in the room, the energy that I was feeling, it was like this complete support to take me somewhere that I didn't know I would go.
And fun fact, you're going to be on stage early next
I got the
spring
bug, guys.
in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Jessie did Romeo and Juliet with Josh O'Connor, so if you
I
guys
was
like,
in London at the Harold Pinter.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
you know, without this film, without this experience, as I'm saying, real people there, like, it's something that I've always not known what it was, and I got a taste for it, and it made, you know, gave me the bug, and I'm excited to do it properly now.
Jacobi, I know your experience was more individual and solo, but can you speak to it a little bit?
I mean, those are tough acts to follow.
I'm gonna say that most of the time that Noah was doing his, like, the sword fight, and his death, and I think to be or not to be, I was behind the little black door, like the black void. I was behind so you couldn't see me. I was just in tears the entire time, and I had to walk out on the stage, and I had to smile and walk into this void, and I didn't know how to do it. And I think that I just had to let go of it all because it was the end.
I can't.
Well,
I can't even hold my it was like lots of things. I don't know, when everyone's talking, it's like, it's reminding me of, I sang once with a conductor and an orchestra, and I remember this conductor decided that we rehearsed once, but on the final rehearsal, he like stepped out and sat in the audience for the whole rehearsal, and it was really scary because there's no one conducting you, you know, and I remember sitting down asking him why he did that afterwards, and there was this moment at the beginning when he left us where it was so vulnerable, you know, it was unknowable, and all of a sudden we didn't have that anchor. And what it meant was that we had to all listen to each other in such a fine-tuned way, like distill ourselves down to each other's sounds. And what happened was that we started to listen to each other better and feel each other better without a commander, without an ego, well, not that he obviously didn't have an ego because he stepped away. Maybe he did have an ego. But I don't know, this is what it reminds me of, is like that moment was so unknowable. We got on this, we got on this journey, we had all the ingredients, we had our stories up until that point, and then this place was a very different place. And Chloe as a leader, and I'd say Chloe's incredible uniqueness as a leader is that she's so confident, and she herself is so engaged in the world that she's created that she's acting like an animal, like an instinctive animal, but with that, she also creates imaginative chaos, so that all the players are like letting their imaginations, their feelings, why they've come to this place to tell this story at this time, fly, and really learn to listen to each other, and she wants everybody to be included in that. She wants 300 extras to be included in that. She wants the camera to be included in that. She wants the wood in the building to be included in that. You know, that's how she works. And she sits there out in the audience like you guys do, because she wants to feel what she probably felt when she first had that feeling when she saw her first film or read her first story. And that's what it reminds me of. That's what it felt like. Keep your hands open.